Okay. Yeah. I was just checking my camera. Yes, Masters. Happy morning and a wonderful evening, Masters. Welcome to today's meditation and wisdom sharing session. Uh, so we are continuing our wisdom with the book Immortal Talks by Shonya. So today we'll continue with the rest of the chapters which are in the book Immortal Talks. So previously we know this book Immortal Talks has been beautifully authored and the stories are put together beautifully by this master called as Shonya. Shunya means nothingness. And as you further dwell into these chapters, why did he put that word nothingness or Shunya will make more sense. So in the first chapter, basically this whole book is nothing but an amalgamation of the wisdom that was given by the immortal master Lord Hanuman to the Matang tribes who are in the residing somewhere in Sri Lanka. So these Matang tribes are very, very closely associated with Hanumanji. So Hanuman visits them every 41 years to impart them wisdom. And he doesn't put it like straightforward, but Hanuman tries to relate it with everyday experiences. And also this whole essence or the wisdom is beautifully put together under the background of a story. Because we human beings tend to love the narration a lot. So we love things to be told in the form of stories, which get deeply imprinted in our brain for a very, very long time. So all our Puranas, anything, whether it's the story of Gita or Ramayana, everything is beautifully put in the form of a story, but there is an immense wisdom that comes behind it. So in that way, this book has been put in the form of stories. So, but an underlying wisdom is told behind it. So in the first chapter, where the author beautifully tells about the concept of free will, and it is depicted by the story of alternate mother, where the soul always has a choice, uses its choice to have a soul plan and to go through that particular life. It chooses to experience and learn from that. So it's purely soul's choice on how it determines or how it wants to live that life. So that is beautifully told in that book, Alternate Mothers, by in the chapter 1. In the second chapter, it's a beautiful story of mermaid and how human being gets entrapped with Maya into the illusion or the Maya every second of our life. So Hanumanji beautifully explained us by telling this concept of Maya or the illusion by relating it with the story of mermaid and the 9 emotions that we always go through in our everyday life. So we tend to get emotional, and that emotion with respect to a situation or an object or a person in our life, and we associate everything in our life with an emotion. There's happiness, there is joy, there is sadness, there is grudge, there is jealousy, hatred. So every object or every situation or every person in our life is related with a particular emotion associating with them. The whole chapter explains us that, attachment is the disease here. Attachment here is the mermaid. So if there is an attachment to any situation or anything in the life, then it is your mermaid. So in that, Hanumanji beautifully explains that how one has to be aware of one's mermaids. And if we are getting attached to this particular thing in our life, then it's gonna pull us into this karmic entanglement with that situation or that person. And we are gonna gather the bad karma of that person. And we have to go through that karma ourselves. So it's very, very important that we have to be detached from all the situations and do our karma, do our things, but without any attachments to that. So whenever you pick any Vedanta or any school of philosophy or any great master, they always, even Patanjali Yoga Sutras or Gita or anything you pick up, they always emphasize on this particular thing of attachments. Don't get attached, be detached, be detached. So the essence is very important, that attachments pull us into this illusion or into this Maya or into this karmic cycle. And we have to go through that cycle until we neutralize or until we detach ourselves. So being in the present moment, being aware of our emotions, not getting carried away, or not going through that particular 9 emotions is very, very important. And in that second chapter, Hanumanji beautifully says that you be a spectator or you be that actor in the drama that is happening. Just be that actor. Don't try to associate with that person that you are. So that's the way you have to be in your everyday life. So that's how Hanumanji explains to Urva, who is going to be the future head of the Matang tribe, that it's very important that you follow this, because being a head of the tribe, you have to be very careful with the mermaids around, because once you protect yourself, you protect your pupils or the people in your group from the attack of these mermaids. So that is more about second chapter. And today we'll talk about the third chapter. So the third, fourth, and fifth has an interlink. And I'll give a little bit of disclaimer before I go into this third chapter, because I feel the third chapter is the most difficult one, because I had to reread to understand what this chapter is all about. So we'll take it slowly at a pace and try to understand it properly, because there are so many things that are told in third, fourth, and fifth chapter. So we'll go it slowly and we'll try to understand it. So as we have talked about the second chapter, we've talked about Baba, Urva, and Danushka going through this scene where there is a dead dog and the maggot situation, and how Baba himself falls into the illusion of Maya by associating with one of the emotions, and how the consequences go through, and how Hanumanji beautifully gives wisdom to Urva that this is how things are going to be if you are getting attached with emotions in your everyday life. So be very, very aware of it. So after, to one side of the forest, the situation is happening. And to the other side of the forest, we see this group of 6 Matang tribal women who are going in their path every day to pick up some firewoods in a nearby place. So in this group of 6 Matang women, 2 important characters are very important. One is Urmi, and the other one is Janaki Rupa. So Urmi is gonna be the wife of the future tribal leader Urva, and she's about 20 years old, and Janaki Rupa is about 80 years old lady in the Matang tribe. So these ladies, I'll share my PPT. This third chapter itself is called as describing the indescribable, because in this chapter, Hanumanji is gonna impart wisdom to us with respect to time-space continuum. There is a concept of soul fragmentation. So he basically tries to explain us 5th dimension. So it includes a little bit of string theory. It's more like, astrophysicists talking about it. So it's little, there are a lot of timelines, alternate realities, and all these things are spoken in this particular chapter. But these whole concepts are told for us to understand the concept of karma and desire. And that is the underlying wisdom that Hanumanji tries to give to us. But he explains how universe works, how we, if we think that we know about spirituality, this, it's whatever that we have learned, it's so much like speck in a sand when Hanumanji tries to show us the real universe, how the laws of the universe works, how there are multiverses. So I think if you have also seen Avengers movie or something, you'll understand this chapter much more easily. But that is how the whole, which is actually true when you read this book, when he's trying to tell about this Shunya tunnels, T timelines, and everything. It's like amazing to read, but that makes sense that how vast the universe is and how much work is happening behind us. And we are just in this speck of sand, even like atom or a molecule down into that big universe, and we are getting worried about our day-to-day life. So this is so beautiful, this whole chapter, and the rest of the chapters are going to be beautiful. So I'll just share the PPT and we'll go from here. Yes. So this chapter is put as a heading as describing the indescribable, because here Hanumanji is going to tell us about something which is very, very difficult to describe in this through this three-dimensional understanding. But still he tries to explain like how the universe is working and everything. So what happens is that as we were talking, there are this group of 6 Matang women who are traveling in some part of the forest because they want to pick some firewood for their everyday work. So what happens is that they're going through a path and suddenly they pick up this very strong, horrible scent, which is left by a really fiery animal like leopard or a tiger. So since they live in the jungle, they are used to this kind of smell. And when they suddenly pick up this smell, they understood that, okay, there is a tiger or some kind of a animal around that particular region. So they thought that, okay, now we have to, break this route, reroute and go through a long route. So when this situation came up, there's a conversation that happens between Janaki Rupa and Urmi among the women. So Janaki Rupa is this 80 years old woman, and she has to walk all the way down to her colony or the place and then reroute. It's a almost 3 times longer route. And in that despair, she suddenly starts saying that it's very, very pathetic, and I sometimes feel that I'm like this puppet which is controlled by some puppeteer or something, because I don't have any free will. I can't walk through a path where I want to walk just because an animal is there. What is this? So she starts to question her free will and everything. And she also says that I think I sometimes feel like someone is controlling us. They're putting us in whatever road they want or whatever situation they want. Just like, we want to walk through this particular path, but there is all of a sudden a tiger has come and I have to take a long route now. So what is this? Someone is control. I don't have any free will or something like that. So for that, Urmi, who is this 20-year-old girl in that Matang tribe, everyone respects her. One important thing for that respect is that she's going to be the wife of the future Matang tribe leader, Urva. But other than that, Urmi herself is a very strong, independent woman. She has got very scholarly attitude, and she's very, very intuitive, but yet she's logical in explaining things. And she has immense respect towards the Matang elders, towards the rules and regulations of the Matang tribe. She thinks that every rule, every regulation has been put with the divine blessings and wisdom of Lord Hanuman himself. So there is no point of questioning of anything. You just need to surrender to that process. So she's in that way very, very independent and strong-minded. So Urmi says that, I think when this concept of free will is being questioned, Urmi says to the Janaki Rupa that I don't think so. Something like that exists. She tells this beautiful line that, a myth in one kingdom might be a truth in other. So people in one place might think that, this particular situation is cannot be done. It's out of control. It's magical. Only in, dreams it will happen. It can't be possible in reality. So this is a kind of thought process of some people in some section of a society. But in other section of a society, these people make that, myth in as a reality. They live that every day in their everyday life. They make things possible. So she says that all the elderly people in our Matang tribe have always exercised their free will. They have not, moved away from exercising their free will, but they never used it just like that. They have always sticked to their intuitions. They have followed the wisdom of the masters, and yet they have used their free will. So there is a debate that was going between Urvi and Janaki Rupa. And Janaki Rupa, again, she says to Urvi that, I feel sometimes, someone has put us into this maze, and I feel that I'm lost in this enormous maze. And it's quite possible that no one might be controlling us, but maybe we ourselves are trapped in a maze and we are hitting dead ends because we have no clue which path is correct. And I sometimes feel that the purpose of our life is to find that path that will take us out of this maze. So this is a beautiful conversation that happens between Urvi and Janaki Rupa. She says that unless the essence of this conversation is that if you don't understand why you have come on to this lifetime, why you have taken up this lifetime, the whole essence or the purpose of your coming in as a soul into this human body, into this particular lifetime of yours, then it's like you hitting mazes left and right and you don't know where to go. And you just go randomly and you hit a dead end, and one fine day we'll leave the body and we'll think, oh, what happened? So it's very, very important that we know what the purpose is. And that will help us to, go through these mazes of Maya that we are in, and it will help us our path to go very easily. So that's what she says. If you don't know the purpose, where are you going and why are you going? You have no idea. So, and when you don't have the purpose, every situation and every circumstance that you face in your day-to-day life is everything you do it very randomly without any understanding or without knowing why is it happening, and what you should do from preventing the disaster not to happen again. So if only we have the right knowledge of why we are here, what we need to do, then I think our path through this maze will become easy, and we won't feel ourselves, as a puppeteers or anything, or we won't even question our free will also. So that's why it's very important that, it's as simple as that. If we want to go for a vacation, if we plan a vacation or something, we'll just look at the place that we are going. We'll make sure that what the climatic conditions are. We'll look for the food, we'll look for the accommodation. We'll look if there is English speaking or if there are any other languages that are to be spoken there. How is the weather there? And, all the basic things that, necessary things for that are important for us to go through that particular survival in that particular place is something we check every time when we go on a travel or to a new place. But when we come onto this earth plane, we come with a lot of blankness, but we won't even try to know that, okay, I've come here, that what is it? Why have I come here? I'm not come here to just study, get degrees, earn money, getting married, having babies and die one fine day. That doesn't make sense. That's even not logical. It doesn't have any essence to that. These things happen naturally, but what is the main current? Why is it that I'm here? What is the essence? What I need to learn is something which every person needs to know from inside, which will make the walk through this maze very easily. We won't randomly come across situations and things and just counter and, feel bad about it. There won't be any dead ends, at least. So that is a beautiful discussion that was happening between Urmi and Janaki Rupa. And suddenly out of blue, Urmi suddenly shouts saying that demon attack and something like that. Now, what is this demon attack is that Urmi, she goes through an episode of seizure, or you might say epileptic attack or fits. Now, Urmi knows that when that episode is going to happen, suddenly her body will, tightens up and, she falls down and she shakes vigorously. So for Urmi, this attack has been happening since the childhood, like since the memory that she could remember, she was going through this epileptic attack. And every time it happens, Urmi goes through a lot of trauma, not only physical trauma, but also mental trauma also. So when Urmi was going through this attack, the Matang ladies come and, they protect Urmi. They put her to a nice, safe place so that nothing harms, because till that episode happens, they can't do anything. And she shivers and wriggles very, very continuously. And it's a very, very horrible thing to watch and even to feel also. So once this epileptic attack has happened, and Urvi, suddenly she feels Even though she completely trusts in the Matang rules and, unbelievable surrenderance to immortal Hanuman, a question, when suffering and pain happens to us, any person will, they'll go back into a cocoon and, the divine light lessens, our intuitive power decreases, our connection with the higher self decreases, and we disconnect. It's not like decreases, we disconnect ourselves and we fall into this trap of Maya. So that was happening to Urvi, because after a severe epileptic attack, it was not easy for her to go through that process. So continuous thoughts keep on coming into the mind of Urmi, saying that, why is this happening to me? Why are these demons why do they love me so much? Do they feel my body or my flesh very delicious? Or why are they not leaving me? And forget about the demons. Why are the gods not saving me? I didn't harm even a small ant. I've always stuck to the rules of the Matang tribe. I always tried to help. I always have a compassionate heart, but why is this happening? Why are even gods not saving them? So this question arises even for us also, right? When we go through a lot of suffering and pain. So these were the questions that were coming, and the tears were rolling down. She was going through a lot of pain, both physically and mentally. But one thing Urvi didn't understand there is that even before the epileptic attack happened, there are two light beings that have surrounded Urvi, even before the attack was supposed to happen, just a couple of minutes before. And those two light beings were called as Ashwin Kumaras. They are the physicians to gods. So they are the ultimate doctors. So Ashwin Kumaras have arrived even before the FIDS attack has happened. And they try to surround Urvi, and they're trying to work on Urvi since the time she's having this attack. But Urvi is not, due to the pain and suffering and everything, when we get ourselves into that cocoon, we get disconnected. So we don't see our higher beings around us. So that was happening to Urvi. Now, these Ashwin Kumaras, they come near Urvi, and what happens is that since I have told that these are the physicians to gods, they're trying to work on Urvi to help her cure through this particular disease of FIDS that she has been suffering since her young age. So Ashwin Kumaras have a, unique way of healing method. So in this healing method, what they do is that it is based on one concept, that for every diseased body, it has a corresponding healthy body in an alternate plane of existence. So here we are talking about parallel universes, multiverses, you would say. So Urvi in universe A, if she's going through this attack in her body, there is another Urvi in universe B whose body is healthy. So now what Ashwin Kumaras do is that they try to shift the soul from the body of Urvi from universe A to another reality of the universe B. So this is a transfer of soul that happens. So they can do it, but only if that soul is away from the clutches of Maya. So if the soul is under the clutches of Maya, the Ashwin Kumaras can't work on the particular soul that is going through this suffering. So under this concept, which is based on the fact that every diseased body has its corresponding healthy body present in the alternate plane of existence, the soul can switch from a diseased body to the healthy body in no time. But if Maya keeps the soul trapped in the diseased body, what does the Maya do is that, which Hanumanji is explaining here, is that the Maya tries to keep the soul in the diseased body, saying that this is your reality. There is nothing you can do it. So when soul believes in that entrapment of Maya, it will suffer in that particular thing, and the rest of the life it will suffer. But once it is away from the clutches of Maya, then immediately within a second, the Ashwin Kumaras can transfer the soul into a very healthy body, which is existing in an alternate reality. So now they're trying to work on this concept with Urmi, but Urmi is deep in the clutches of Maya and she's unable to come out of it. And even Ashwin Kumaras were not able to understand that why is this happening. They can't find the loophole on how Maya is caught the soul of Urmi inside it and Urmi is unable to leave that body. So when they are thinking about it and the whole thing was going, suddenly Lord Hanuman comes and then both Ashwin Kumaras, they bow down to Lord Hanuman and saying with deep gratitude and reverence, and they say that, Hanumanji, we know that you love this Matang tribe, but this is the problem that is happening and we are not understanding how and what is that one rope that Maya is holding Urmi's soul in this body. And we are unable to shift that soul into that alternate reality. Now Hanumanji scans the entire body of Urmi from head to toe and he smiles and he says that I know what is that one thing that Maya is caught hold of, and I know how to break it also. Let's work on it. So here we need to understand that the concept of karma comes here, because the entire suffering of Urmi is going through a thing that has happened in one of our previous lifetimes, and that is the major cause that is affecting Urmi in this lifetime. So we know that the entire universe is a manifestation of all that is, or the God, or whatever the name it is. So that's why there is no labeling to this. There is nothing good or bad in this universe, because the entire universe has been created by the creator. So the good and the bad is only determined by one's attitude towards that happens. How you define it is your definition of good and bad. It is not the universe's definition of good and bad. So here we need to understand the concept of karma and desire a little, because the entire story backtracks under this. So we all know what karma is, right? Karma is nothing but an action or a work. So it's like action potential, something you're working on, that is called as karma. So there's this saying that, for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction, which is a Western philosophy. In Hindu philosophy, we believe that every action or intent of an individual which is done with a desire for a fruit will be rewarded in the same way in the future. Yeah, we have that beautiful line from Gita, Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. So it says that with good intention, if not that line, but usually what happens is that when you do in that, when that Gita Sloka is told, it is said that whatever work you do without any intention, good or bad, no intention, nothing. You just do the work. Because if you do any kind of work without any intention, you're not attaching yourself to the deeds or to the fruits. Of course, there might be good or bad, but even good is also good karma. Bad is also bad karma. So eventually you have to neutralize it. So if you do things with good intention, you will get good karma, good rewards will come to you. And bad intentions, bad karma and punishments will happen. Or not like punishments, but we go through the same suffering to understand the suffering more, so that we get that experience. So, and this karma is concept which is linked with the concept of reincarnation. Because what happens is that based on one's karma and desire and that particular lifetime, after the soul has left that body and whatever the karmic things the soul has done and the desires that the soul has, it gets into the cycle of birth and death in the next world. So we need to know that, there are three types of karma here, Sanchita karma, Prarabdha and Agami. Many of you would have known it. I just brush it off. Sanchita is that concept which says that, a soul is has lived through many millions of lifetimes. So in every lifetime, the soul has done some karma. So all these karmas accumulate into a big sack called as Sanchita karma. So this karma is all of your lifetime's work. So every lifetime, when you pick up a lifetime, you don't, eventually, if you want to come out of this karmic cycle, you have to neutralize it completely. So how do you neutralize it? Good and bad and everything, you have to just make it zero. Then only you will get out of that karmic cycle of birth and death, and you that oneness and all the next stages you will go into. So how do you get out of this karmic cycle is that in every next lifetime, you take a little bit of karma from your big sack of Sanchita karma. And you get into that particular, you do the whole soul planning and everything on how to neutralize this karma and everything. And you just come onto this earth plane or any three-dimensional reality, and you go through that particular timeline and experience to neutralize this karma, to make it zero. Now, what happens? The whatever that you have picked up, that becomes your prarabdha karma, and you start with that prarabdha karma as a baby. You enter into this three-dimensional reality, and now you start living that reality. Now we completely forget about all our previous lifetimes and everything, and we are in this new lifetime. But we have the our vasanas, or your, what do you say, memory. Our chitta is there, so we have all those things, and with free will and everything, you continue with this new lifetime. And by the end, or by the finishing of this new lifetime, you'll gather new karma. You'll be neutralizing some karma. You'll be making new karma and everything. All this will accumulate into the future karma called as agami karma. Now this agami will go and will include into your sanchita karma. So that's how you make the cycle again and again and again till you make it zero. It's not even about good karma also, till you make it zero. So then only you are outside this karmic cycle. So every unfulfilled desire of ours in this lifetime, if you don't get an understanding to it, or you feel that by the time you leave this body, if there is an unfulfilled desire, then that will be the base for your next lifetime. That is what it is said. So here, I'm telling this as a part of revision or a part of brush off to understand how the concept is going to go. So here, the concept on how Hanumanji is going to help Urvi to come out of this suffering that she's going through is linked with her past lifetime. One of her lifetimes, it is going back there. So he has to go there and work from there. So now the Lord Hanuman he sits down into meditation position, and Urvi is sleeping there on the floor of the forest. She's completely lost her consciousness. And both Ashwin Kumara stand on either side of Urvi, and they put their hands together to form a posture like a lotus on the navel or the Manipuraka chakra near the navel region of Urvi. And now they are all into this meditative state. Now they are in the astral world and they're interacting there. Now the concept of Hanuman, how he's going to heal Urvi here is that here with Urmi, Hanuman, what he's going to do is that he's going to inject, or he's going to revoke Urmi's memory of a particularly important sequence from her previous lifetime. Now, it's very, very important that whenever a sequence of a memory from the previous lifetime or a future possible lifetime is going to be revoked, then it creates a havoc in the present lifetime. So it's very, very important that it has to be done under the presence of some guru or a very, very highly evolved ascended master. So here, and it should be done properly so that it does not affect the present lifetime. So that's why, we don't need our past lifetimes. People sit into knowing that I need to know past lifetimes, but why do you need to know? Unless and until if that is linked to your present day suffering, or you need any breakage there, then only it's presentable to us. That's what it's been said. So here, Hanumanji wanted Urmi to know that particular important sequence from her previous lifetime. So now he interacts with Urmi. Now here it is very important that he just can't go to Urmi's soul and just like that tell it. Now he needs to prepare Urmi's soul on what he's going to tell, what are the things he's going to tell. And then if Urmi has a soul, the soul which is there in the Urmi's body, once it remembers, it understands the whole concept, then it will be able to get out of the clutches of Maya. So before Hanumanji even works with Urmi, the soul of Urmi, he tries to impart some wisdom to Urmi. So here he's going to tell few concepts to Urmi. Those are the concepts of karma, desire. He'll talk about time, space, continuum. He'll talk about Maya, the timelines and all those things. So now he starts interacting. He's in meditation position. Now he starts interacting with Urmi. And we can see Hanumanji speaking, but the voice is only heard to Urmi and the Ashwin Kumaras. No one can hear, see, or what's happening in that particular place. To a normal naked human being can't see what's happening there. So Hanumanji starts speaking to Urmi, saying that, a beautiful child, you have been going through a lot of suffering, and I know you are very tired. So let me help you. And I need you also to understand what I'm going through, because if you don't catch it or you don't understand, I can't help you. So it's very important that you try to work with me, and I'll help you to get out of this suffering that you're going through. Now he says to Urmi that, Urmi, the universe, that whatever you know, is, it's like the basic knowledge of what universe is, that, it's comprising of stars, its planets, celestial bodies, meteorites, and all these things. That is your version of universe. But did you anytime see universe outside the time-space continuum? That's what he says. Can you imagine universe outside time and space? Did you ever imagine how it will be? So then he says that I usually see universe outside the time-space continuum. And for me, everything, the past, present, and future, is just like a timeline. There is no past, there is no present, there is no future. So I want you to understand that everything is just like this sequence that is there. There is past, there is present, there is future, all at one time. So I want you to understand this concept in that way. And I want you to see this universe as this, a white globe in the center with spider web all around surrounding it. And the spider webs are nothing but the timelines that you can choose, and you can go into any timeline and can live that timeline. So I try to pick up a picture here for you to show that, how he's trying to explain the fifth dimension, where the past, present, and future is happening simultaneously. Like the universe is formed, the earth is formed, there is dinosaurs and everything. And it's as if you're watching the entire universe from the start to the end, possible end, just outside the time-space continuum. So he says that, I want you to come out of this time-space continuum and see the universe in that way. Now, the soul of Urmi asks Hanumanji that, how can I come out of this time-space continuum? Like, how can I come out of this? Then Hanumanji says that, imagine yourself as a speck of light. I know it's very difficult for you, but just imagine yourself as a speck of light and drop down everything of you as a Urmi. This, what do you say, your identity as a Urmi, your memories, your attachments to think what you are in the childhood, your mother, your father, everything, just drop it. And you just get detached of this thing for a second. And you see yourself as a speck of light and just come out of the space-time continuum. You can do it. So on Hanumanji guiding her further, she could do it, and she just came out of the space-time continuum. And now she's seeing the entire universe outside the time-space continuum. So the past, there is no past, there is no present, there is no future. So it's just like a movie reel that is happening, and you can go to any scene and live that particular scene. So that's how the universe was looking to her. And Hanumanji is telling her all these things so that she'll understand. He wants her to take to that place where he's going to work with her. So now when Urmi is out of this time-space continuum, he says that, now we'll go and pick up a scene. This particular scene where there's a boy, Vaibhav, who is eating mangoes. So as you can see that particular scene, this unique scene, it is happening at a particular space-time coordinates, which is, it is happening at a particular day on a particular place on the planet Earth at a particular time, where the stars are aligned at a particular way. So all these are the time-space coordinates where that event is happening. So Urmi and Hanumanji walks till that event, and they're seeing as if it is happening in a movie reel. And there are infinite number of timelines like that. There are many people living their life timelines in that particular, and they're just seeing everything as a movie. So even I think they're watching us also as a movie where I'm talking to you or something like that. And my previous day is also there on the reel. So my future is also there on the reel. So they can stop anytime, pause any reel, and just go and watch that reel. That is how he's trying to explain Urmi. So he picks up this unique sequence and he says that this particular timeline where this boy called Vaibhav, who is eating mangoes, there is a beautiful, it's a beautiful sunny day, and there are birds there chirping, and the scent of the flowers, everything, both visually, essentially, everything, the whole scene is happening there. And Hanumanji tells to Urmi that I can take you to that scene, you can go and live that scene. You can physically go and live that scene, experience that whole, whatever that is happening there. For that, the soul of Urmi says that, how can I do that? There is already a person who's going through that particular experience. If I go there, I'll be disturbing the entire timeline. And for that, Hanumanji says to Urmi that now you are outside the time-space continuum. You are no more under the influence of Maya. So you are not a soul now, you are nothingness. So even though if you go there, no one can see you, no one can watch you, no one can feel any disturbance, and nothing will happen. But you will also feel that experience happening there. So then Urmi asked that, how can I go there? Because this particular event is happening somewhere in some of the universe, which is millions and millions of space, billions of years, light years away. How can I go just like that and live that particular scene? So for that, Hanumanji says that, there are these tunnels called Shunya tunnels, and there are some timelines that run through this tunnel. So when you go through these tunnels, you can just go to that particular scene in just some seconds or within seconds. So I can direct you to these tunnels. But these tunnels are very interlocked. You can't go. So I'll guide you, then you can go and you can live the scene where the Vaibhav is living and everything. So in this whole discussion, Hanumanji is trying to explain Urvi this concept of universe that we know. That one is that there are multiverses. There is no one universe. There are parallel realities happening simultaneously. And we are in this third dimension. We think, the past and the present and the future. But everything is happening all at one at a time. Like the past, the present, and the future is happening all at one at a time. And this particular scene is explained because now he's going to explain her how, he'll take her to that particular timeline and explain how the karma and the desire part happens. And why is it important to understand this concept, which we'll carry on to the next session. But I just want you to give the essence or the glitch of how Hanuman is going to tell about this particular scene. I think it's very intense. I don't know how many of you have understood it, but I really want you to go back and read this chapter. Why this whole essence is that when we say that you have to live in the present moment, you have to live in the present moment, because that is the moment where you can create the reality that you want, because the past and the future is already, past has happened and the future is probability that can happen. So it's the present that will determine your probable future. So it's very, very important on how you live the life in the present, and what actions and how you are going to do it will determine the possible future. So this is this particular chapter on thing. There are more, the continuation of the chapter will happen. We'll do it in the next session, where the correct understanding on how the karma and desire work and how we can escape it and how we need to look into it is being told by Hanumanji. So we'll continue the rest of the part in the next session. So this is it for today. And we'll go into meditation now. If there is any sharing or anything, if anyone wants to talk, please do. Yeah. Yeah, Jagruti ma'am.
Good morning. Ma'am, it's very easy to even I have heard in many sessions that there's no past, no future. But now suppose 10 years back, I was in a particular age, and today I am at a particular age. How can we live the same uh, time at like how can we visualize ourselves to be in only one timeline? Like there is no past, no present. Now I was in KG, and today I'm a grown up woman, and tomorrow I will be an older person. So how can we live all these moments at the same time? Everything is in the present. I It's a bit difficult for me to understand.
Yeah. So I think, it's just like the real, like, when you watch a movie, you pause and you go front and everything. So here, for the soul, there is no age. It's the physical body that is aging. But for the soul, it has to go through only the
Yeah.
experience of that thing. That's
Only
what.
the learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, the soul doesn't this physical level is a grosser level, and
Yeah.
so we find changes at the physical level, but the
Yeah.
soul grows in an invisible way.
Yeah.
I think it is in this particular way. The aging happens only at our physical body level.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Okay,
here,
okay, yeah.
even with when at the next session we'll talk when that particular scene where the boy is eating the mango, and when Hanumanji says that I can direct you to that scene, you can go and live that scene. So after discussion, when she's taken into that Shunya tunnel or that wormhole, you can say, to that particular scene, she could not go into
Moment.
that scene. So there Hanumanji says that you need to have the experience, because that boy, even to taste the mango, to hear the sound,
Yes, right, right,
also,
right.
he
So the
has to
soul is the one
experience.
which has to, yeah, the soul takes the experience, as it is
Yes.
always said that the
Yeah.
soul travels. So the soul will be traveling to that past moment.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Now it's
Yeah.
clear. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. 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 Vindhya ma'am.
Yeah, hi, Ravli ma'am. Sorry, I'm driving, so I thought I just. Oh my God. Yeah, I was even while driving, I was like worried maybe I'll get lost into the discussion because I wanted to hear. It was so you took us through so many things. First of all, like a banana is peeled and given to a child, you were peeling slowly, and I love the way you take the time. I think the essence is that you understood yourself first, and then you're explaining, so we can hear from your understanding. So thank you for that. You've taken your time to, because every time you pause and you give us, like you tell us, like, look, now this is happening, this is going to happen. So thank you. That's where I think your storytelling skills are really beautiful. And it is a difficult topic, but as you were saying, I could visualize so many things that we have already learned because you were connecting it with everything, like that astral travel part, right? You were trying to say that mango, the smell, and that you
Sense
could
of
feel the thing, and that is how
yes.
astral travel
Yeah.
happens, right? So, and the other part also, as you were saying, I was kind of having this picture when Hanumanji wants to, like, not Hanumanji, but the doctors, I forgot
Ashwin
the name,
Kumar.
Ashwin Kumar. So that time, they keep saying that the soul is not in the, it's disconnected. And I could think of our story, like when Yashodhara was going through the pain, how she falls into that, and like mind gets disconnected. And I could feel like it's the similar thing. And the only way to come back is being in the present. And like you in the end summarize everything, the crux of the thing is you have to be in the present. And for them to work also. So when you're saying the soul is disconnected, or caught in the Maya, I kept thinking was the mind. And when you're saying the soul needs to be, not caught in Maya, I kept saying you have to be in the present, you have to be in the present. So I don't know, somehow all these things were blending in for me. And then the 3D, that is hard to understand to become one. It's like you take a 3-dimensional picture and then print it on a paper, then everything is like right there, right? It's not like back, forward, and thing. So I'm trying. It is hard for my little brain to understand, but I'm trying. And yeah, so I think the important thing is we all have to be connected to the present. And uh, even you said, right, there's a healthy body in another plane and this body, disease body. I kept thinking every day our cells reach, and like every few minutes new cells come, right? So I was thinking that is what it might be meaning, new body. And that only happens if you are completely in the moment and you are like when we are in that meditate. I mean, it happens, but we are aware of it when it's happening, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to say all this, what I was thinking. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I am not happy. At least something I try to explain in this
I don't know what I understood, but this is what I connected. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ram sir. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, as usual, Ravali madam.
Ramakrishna sir. Hi sir.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. Good to see you.
As usual, Ravali madam always makes the story perfectly well.
Okay,
And the concepts she expresses are really difficult to understand. I just wanted to appreciate that. And at the same time, I wanted to add a little bit more for that timeliness. As somebody questioned, how can there be no time? I mean, the time is restricted only to the planet that you are living in. Just imagine yourself to be out of the solar system, then there is no time concept at all. Suppose, I mean, what you may call a soul or a body or whatever it is, somebody living outside the solar system has no time concept at all. So what is time? I don't know what is time. How does it go? So the only way that one can understand is that, hey, I had in that janma when I was Ramakrishna, listening to Ravali madam, that's the only context I can put. The soul, I think, refers only to janma. That's how the time concept can totally be erased. I hope Ravali madam agrees with me there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's how in the future, in further also, Hanumanji explains that, there is this whole timeline that is happening, and just the soul is going to that particular scene, living it, coming out, living it, coming out.
So the timeline exists, but in different terms, not in terms of hours or days, but in terms of lifetimes.
Yes, yes.
So when I was so-and-so, I was so-and-so.
Yeah.
And one more thing I wanted to add, Ravali madam, about Gita, it is Nishkama Karma.
Yeah.
Nishkama Karma, that means not that you are not result oriented, but do not expect the result to be a specific way. That is the, I think what Sri Krishna said is that a person or a soul is not, is not responsible for the results of an action, but he is bound by this karma that he has to do the karma. He cannot say, I don't want to do the karma, I can go into a cave and sit there forever and forget about it. No, you are bound to do your duty. At the same time, say Bhagavata Arpitam, Krishna Arpanam, the term has come only from that, saying that, hey, all the results of an action are given to God. Whatever he decides, that will happen, and he is acting through me for a particular way of living. So that is Nishkama Karma. So once a person gets to that Sthita Prajna state where he takes everything cool, benefit or the loss, do not have emotional disturbances, then I think we have reached a particular goal. That's where the liberation comes from. And one more thing I think I wanted to add, what is karma basically? Karma, it is good intention or bad intention. Even a bad thought adds to your karma. And it is not possible to erase whatever karma has already been done. That is Sanchita Karma. Sanchita Karma is a log of all the bad or good, whatever has been done over all the past janmas. And out of that Sanchita Karma, soul, according to the soul plan that we already acquainted with, or we already read, some of us, that it picks up a little bit of a prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma is for this particular janma, and nobody, even God, cannot erase it. That's what Krishna says. Sanchita karma, he might be able to help you to remove it. And there is no balancing between once I do a bad karma, other thing I could a good karma. So they cancel each other. No. You have to have bad karma experience also to the soul. You have to add good karma experience as a result of that also to the soul. Particularly, any good karma also restricts you in this janma, bounds you to this earth. Example that we can cite from Ramayanam is that when Vishwamitra takes Sri Rama and Lakshmana as a boy to fight with the devils or to protect the yajna, he gives up his strength like Bala, Sabala, three of the strengths that he had, because unless he gives up those things to Sri Rama, he will not go to the unification with Atma Balam or with consciousness or heavens, whatever we call it. So he intentionally gives those things back to Sri Rama so that he will be liberated. So I think any good or bad, whatever we do, it is there and it will not balance out. Each has to experience whatever it is there. I just wanted to add that. Agami karma you can control by being good now in this present janma. At the present time, if your thoughts are good, then agami karma is completely abolished. It doesn't exist. But prarabdha karma, you cannot. It is the portion that you have selected for this janma. One has to go through that. I think it makes some sense.
No, it's beautifully put, sir. Yeah.
Thanks again for this opportunity, Ravula Madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Nicely said, sir. Yeah. Yeah. So the next chapter will listen about, further next session we'll talk about this, how this karma desire, and even Hanumanji does some astral surgery also. So he explains that concept also on how it works and how it can be done. So yeah, a lot of beautiful concepts are going to come. Yeah. Yes, Master. So we'll go for some meditation. Yeah, just relax, sit in the most comfortable position. Let us silence our mind for some time. Just close your eyes, just cross your fingers. Lock your fingers, just cross your legs. Take back rest if you want, drink some water. Just loosen up your physical body. Take a couple of deep inhalations and exhalations. A beautiful trick that works if your mind is little agitated to sit into meditation is breath exercise. So take deep inhalations and exhalations, or pranayama if you can do any versions of it. You can do it. Stabilize that breathing and the mind comes down. Scan your physical body from head to toe. Observe your forehead, your eyes, nose. Just scan each and every part of your physical body. Your upper body, your lower body. Just scan it. Every day for maybe 10 or 15 minutes in a day. Just scan your physical body from head to toe. It's a beautiful way of relaxing your body. Now, whenever you're ready, just get back to your normal breathing. Observe your in-breath and your out-breath. How the air is entering into your lungs. How the chest is expanding with that inhalation. And how you're exhaling. The warm air flowing through your nostrils, reaching the tip of your upper lip. Feel the sensations. And just observe the air going in and going out. Be with your breath. Just to cease the activity of mind. Let us travel into that nothingness. Observe your breath. Masters. Slowly feel your surroundings, feel your physical body, and express a feeling of gratitude for this beautiful life that we get to live, the experiences that we get to have from this life. We get to see the beautiful nature, hear the beautiful sounds, enjoy the beautiful food, memories of our loved ones, our day-to-day interactions with them. Every experience is amazing. Our soul rejoices it every day. Nothing is good or bad. It's all about experience. Be grateful for that life, for that breath that is allowing us to go through this experience. Express gratitude to each and everything. Be thankful for each and everything, moment, every object, every person in your life that has given you this beautiful experience. Say thank you. Masters, whenever you're ready, just move your physical body, interlock, remove your fingers, rub your palms together, place your palms on your beautiful eyes, and slowly, whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Drink some water if you want. And have a wonderful rest of the night and a beautiful day to begin. Enjoy every second, every moment. Be in the present moment. Be aware of your emotions, your feelings. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to each and every one. Thank you.